Cheers. Well, it's nice to see you again.
It was a long wait.
Well, I
Day
guess
and
it's
a half.
over the weekend, but it's been a week since we did the show.
Yeah, it's been a week since we
So,
did the show,
you know,
but
I
it
guess
was shout out to Tampa Bay Bitcoin
Shout out
and
to Bitcoin Day Tampa.
Bitcoin Day Tampa. That was awesome.
It's a stellar lineup. Charlie
Dude,
Schwam.
I'm sporting
Tom-
my
wow.
high hash rate socks.
There's holes in there.
Yeah, it's I'm saving my money to stack Bitcoin, baby.
I hear you. Sell your socks. It's hot enough down here. You don't need a lot of socks, I guess. But we saw Charlie Schramm, Tom Luongo, Carl,
CJ Constantino.
CJ Constantino. His father was there, which was pretty
that
cool.
was rad. Who else? Wesley.
Yes, Wesley, who runs Bitcoin Day, Bitcoin Bay, which is awesome and booming. They threw the Sound Money soiree.
Gabe and Rosa from Block Spaces.
That's right.
Chris Sullivan from Hyperion Decimus. Shout out to all y'all. You guys were fire.
That was awesome.
Had a bunch of, I'm sorry, guys. The Florida has some pretty solid Bitcoiners. I don't know what to say.
Barn Miner. Printing out a beef jerky.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was there. It was really cool. It has grown. Actually, that's really interesting. You said that Senator Joe Brutus was there.
Yeah.
Who I never heard of before, to be honest. And he lives in Sarasota, and I really want to actually meet him. But he's huge. And I'm not trying to get political here, but I'm just outlining the resume he shared. So he's been he's a state senator from Florida, and he was in 2016, he supported Trump, and he was a big part of the Republican National Party. And in 2020, I guess he supported Trump. And now he's the Republican National Treasury, the treasurer of the Republican National Party, as a state senator from Florida, from Sleepy Town, just enough city.
Can you say Florida again?
Florida. And some people tell me that's the right way to say it, actually. It sounds a little bit like Florida, but it's Florida. It's almost like water.
It was very much a Northeast version.
Yes, it's a Northeast version. It's the best version, of course. But Florida is the best, country in the world to be a Bitcoiner.
Yes,
it's got freedom, sunshine, and it's really close to America. But back to Senator Joe Brutus. He's a Bitcoin supporter. He was on stage with Samuel Arms, the president of the Florida Blockchain Association.
Blockchain Business Association.
Blockchain Business Association, thank you. And so Senator Joe Brutus is familiar. I hope I'm saying his last name right, probably not. His brother is a long-time investor and saver in Bitcoin, so he kind of gets it. That was pretty cool, I thought.
I missed it.
And again, not about positive. That they're coming to a function in Tampa for Bitcoin Day Tampa. Yeah. And we're drawing that kind of firepower. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. We have the best clubs in the whole world hanging out in Florida.
Yeah, I think it's booming.
Come visit sometime.
Just have to figure out mining down here with the
I know.
Salt water in the air. That's
and the heat.
And the heat.
What do you do with all the heat? I've been trying to figure that one out. I don't know.
Yeah, we power jacuzzis and warm pools.
Yeah, we need it.
Right, a little bit of heat. Francis, can you hear us? Because we can roll the intro. Actually, so welcome to BitcoinCenter. My name is Cedric Youngelman.
I'm Paul Tarantino.
And let's get into it for this week. All right, Sailor on Bloomberg, no more crypto winter. It's interesting that he says that now. I want to bring up a tweet from VJ here, VJ Boyapati. He just tweeted out, the year is 2029 and Bitcoin is 1.5 million. Sailor hits the ATM to fund a $10 billion purchase of Bitcoin. Draws another orange dot and strategy rallies to $375.
No more crypto winter?
Well,
what does he mean by that? Like no more bear markets or just no more choke point 2.0?
I think I think we know what I really think what it means is Bitcoin treasuries can't withstand a crypto winter. I
hope they can. That's not good if that's what he means, dude.
I don't know if that's what he means, but I think that's part of why he would say something like that. I don't think they're built to withstand a crypto winter.
Well, then,
and I think that's. You see this with Pierre Richard
I don't believe in this whole like there'll never be a Bitcoin bear market again.
I don't either. I think we're starting to see the beginning of exuberance.
I think he means
corporate exuberance.
I think he just purely means that the tide has turned from a regulatory perspective. That the regulators, the government is in favor, politicians are in favor, sovereigns are in favor of Bitcoin. I think that's what he means, but it doesn't mean that the price of Bitcoin doesn't.
I think that's part hope. That's what I'm saying. I think that's needed and wanted and desired.
Yeah.
I just think that we're starting to see the beginning or a lot of signs of exuberance. I don't think we're near. Maybe we're at a top. Maybe we've had a top. But
dude, y'all better hope it goes down and get some more.
Yeah, you get more,
man. Come on.
You get cheap sats. That's
the
true.
Volatility is in our favor.
I still think humans are extremely cyclical by nature.
100%.
So it's not Bitcoin doesn't have cycles. Humans do.
That's been the
and they FOMO in and out of this asset, and we're seeing.
Well, it's not this asset; it's been every asset since the beginning of time.
So. Right. Well, you got to FOMO into an asset because you're printing, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next topic.
Cardano to convert part of the treasury to BTC. Charles, you get the price you deserve. You've been slighting Bitcoin forever. You've been pooping on Bitcoin forever, trying to make a better coin. You're finally succumbing to the pressure. Build a Bitcoin treasury because you know that the amount of BTC per token of Cardano is the only way you'll have any value. It's about time. Why don't you just close the fund, convert all the Cardano to Bitcoin, and move on with it, and find something better to do with your life.
Well, Charles Hodgson said he pre-mined ETH, then he started Cardano, and he's going to sell Cardano for Bitcoin. In a way, he's trying to be a Bitcoin treasury company. But and this was a tweet, what is to prevent Cardano holders from selling their own Cardano for Bitcoin?
I know, it's such a joke.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's saying, let me sell Cardano to bump your Cardano up and buy Bitcoin. Why don't you just do it for yourself?
You better dump Cardano immediately. First of all, was it like a few months ago? I'm going to build a bridge to Bitcoin. And I'm going to make the change.
This brings up a bigger.
Oh my God!
Did you hear?
It's just like any little freaking thing he can come up with to try and tie the value of his shitcoin to Bitcoin. It's a joke. If you're still holding Cardano, I'm sorry. Flush it, get into Bitcoin, and move on with your life.
Well, it's an affinity scam. I mean, speaking of affinity scams, look at Tron and Justin Sun. Mm-hmm. I think he just got like. SEC.
At least he tried everything.
He's going to list Tron on NICE, I heard, on New York Stock Exchange. This is what I've heard.
It doesn't surprise me.
And he's going to buy Bitcoin.
I know, but at least it's a stable coin. I mean, like, if you're going to be a shit coin, you might as well be a stable coin.
Tron is a stable coin, I guess.
Well, the tether on Tron is.
Okay. Right. Okay. But
which is like 99.9% of the.
Right. But the Justin Sun thing really speaks to pay to play. I mean, he donates or buys 50 million in Trump stock. And then Trump's kids are nominated to the board that helped him get the license to be registered on the
Dude, I'm sorry, but Trump is kind of like becoming the fully transparent Nancy Pelosi.
100%.
Like he's grifting off the entire industry. And I voted for the guy.
Well, it seems
because I didn't think he was going to be like this. I didn't think he was going to be like this. But I mean, he's literally just doing every crypto deal for the benefit of his family and being very public. At least he's public about it. That's the only benefit, right? Nancy was doing it behind the scenes. He's telling you what he's doing.
Well, I think it's soft. I think I was thinking about today. So you have one party's we're going to do all these things, and everyone's that's horrible. And then the other party's we're gonna if we ever get power back from you, we're gonna change everything. We're not gonna let you do that anymore. And then they get in power and they don't stop any of it, and they cause all these new problems. So the other side says, look, your people don't even do what they say they're gonna do. So we want power back because you lie. And then this side's well, we can't give it up because you'll do the thing again. And that's all divide and conquer. And it's just, and I think all this, it's just a baiting switch like it's always been.
Here's to being human and not being in politics.
Thank goodness. I think time for the next topic. Okay, Metaplanet passes Coinbase to become the 9th largest Bitcoin treasury company. I mean, Metaplanet, if you're looking at these Bitcoin treasury companies, I said this probably last week, it's one I'm most excited about from how they're doing things, the speed they're doing things, the clarity with the way they're doing things. So, I hope they, figure out a way to manage the debt load and maybe even get through a crypto winter if there's one. I shouldn't even say crypto. I don't know why it says crypto winter. It should be a Bitcoin winter if there is one. I don't really care about grade or crypto and stable coins. And I don't know how stable coins can have a winter. So I don't know what winter they're referring to outside stable coins.
They're in permanent
right.
bottom.
Well, I don't think he has a winter. So sad, but
yeah, Metaplanet. I've got nothing. I've got nothing really to add other than keep up the good work.
How come Coinbase doesn't have more Bitcoin? How come they're not growing at fast pace? I mean,
dude,
they
got lots of shitcoining to do.
It's true. Yeah, I think that says a lot more about.
I mean, it's a lot of work to list Farcoin. Adam back invest in BTC firm H100. Adam, Byte Federal needs backing to buy Bitcoin. Byte Federal could use a $15.8 million convertible to buy Bitcoin. And we sell Bitcoin and we support the industry. What has H100 done for Bitcoin yet? Give me a call, Adam.
This is interesting. Did he personally invest?
I'm dead serious. This is a pitch for Adam Back to call Byte Federal. Let's work on a convertible. Let's build Byte Federal's BTC stack as fast as possible. We're doing it out of our cash flow. We're doing it because we're Bitcoiners. Now we want to do it with Adam Back's money. Let's do it.
It's interesting. I mean, this is probably a personal investment that they're referring to. He's always been very bullish, obviously, on Bitcoin. Now he's very bullish on Bitcoin treasury companies. It looks like he's putting his own personal wealth behind it. That's fascinating. I mean, there is the theory, and I think even Pierre and James Chanos might debate this on Preston Fish's show, and they're welcome to talk about the Bitcoin Matrix. But is this sort of financial gibberish, or is this the new Mag 7? And they're just getting such a head start on companies with a positive cash flow who just haven't woken up to this, and every company has to do this going forward. But I just see also how there's just building a lot of systemic risk in Wall Street, not necessarily in the Bitcoin protocol.
There's not a lot. There's some very profitable companies out there that have not done it yet. And then there are a lot of zombies that have done it. There's very few of us that actually have cash flow that make money that are doing it.
Right.
Doing it because we love Bitcoin.
Right.
Right. So there's some people using it as a life raft to get to the other side because they're dying on the vine. And then there's really, really profitable Mag 7 companies that haven't really grokked it yet. Their shareholders haven't grokked it yet. And then there's people like us.
I mean, I'd like to see like a company like Walgreens adopt, a Bitcoin treasury strategy, and they could say something like, we have all these decaying physical locations, we got real estate issues with our leases and whatnot, but we have a monopoly on 65% of America's prescriptions. And if we start stacking stats, we can build a reserve and turn this business around and build a digital.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense,
right? Makes sense.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. And it was very interesting when Microsoft discussed it. Let's try to get this one in before time's up. Eric Balchunas, Bloomberg intelligence analyst, says Bitcoin ETFs have 3x gold ETFs on the way to 1 trillion. And that's, just speaks to the phenomenal growth of these ETFs, just sucking up, tons of coins and getting what I hope is Main Street involved in their 401ks.
These are boomers that don't know how to hold their private keys, or investment management companies that can't hold a commodity, have to hold a security. So it's great, they're getting exposure, but come on, guys, really, grab your, and hold your private keys and buy real Bitcoin.
But this I think is a less risky way to onboard and expose them. I'm not trying to, then it is to your grandma and your dad and your sister and your cousin. Then Bitcoin treasury companies.
You're going to have $1 trillion held when private keys are going to be held by.
Sure. Well, some of these are doing it in-kind withdrawals. I don't know if they're for retail yet. They're probably for institutional, but this would be interesting.
That's good. I think Fidelity did that. Good for them.
Yeah,
I think they did
so.
that. So maybe Bitwise did that.
I think BlackRock applied for it.
Really?
I don't want to see it all.
If they do that, if they give the people the ability to withdraw their Bitcoin and hold their own keys, I'll be a very happy person.
Yeah, and I think that could be interesting for generational wealth. Again, not your keys, not your cheese. Let's head to the lightning round.
All right, Ukraine proposes SBR already holding 46,000 Bitcoin.
Ukraine has 46,000 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I wonder how much of that came from SBF.
Ukraine has 46,000 of Americans' Bitcoins.
The 46,000 that didn't get funneled through SBF back into the Democratic Party.
That's fascinating. That makes me think Russia has a multiple of that.
I would assume so.
And then China?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
who doesn't have a multiple? What G7 doesn't have a multiple?
Maybe Ukraine has more than the rest because they were the money laundering arm for quite a while.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe they're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, maybe
that's the way they settle their debts.
Or Vladimir Putin will seize it.
Lutnick's gonna be like, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. I guess
okay, I'm for I think that's could be. Oh, some of the art that displays.
Wait, is this Panama City, Florida?
Ooh.
Or
no,
Panama City plans on creating Panama City, the country, Francis?
No, city.
I think.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
I think it's really cool. I hope people are tasteful about this. I think I've seen some of the work isn't so great, but yeah, I think if there was one sort of entity, I don't like paying tribute, fealty to other human beings, but I think if there was something to make art about or that's inspiring, I like Bitcoin art. These countries are thinking about Satoshi.
We're making
passerbys contemplate.
I like the one statue where when you look at it, it disappears because it's all in slices, and then you pick it back up on the side.
Right.
It's Satoshi being anonymous.
I think it'd be cool if there was less about Satoshi, more like just like what would 21 million look like, or what does a time chain look like?
Yeah.
More things that are kind of like more
like
abstract.
The big Bitcoin time.
Yeah, or the formula that kind of describes how we got to 21 million.
White paper.
That'd be cool. The white paper. In museums, in libraries,
engraved on a monolith.
Yeah, I think that would be wild and more impactful than, because I think that putting up these Satoshi could lead people maybe to kind of be like, why are we worshiping, or why are we making it about one person and who is that?
I agree.
Bitwise
says one BTC is the new American dream.
Fuck yeah, that's great.
I agree. I think that's amazing.
It's a good marketing campaign for the ETF.
Right.
Buy your own Bitcoin though. That's the thing. One Bitcoin in self-custody is the new American dream, but if you can get one Bitcoin exposure,
because you don't have property rights if you don't have it in your own private keys, and the Bitwise is even telling you that. Right. So sell their ETF, buy one Bitcoin, put it in self-custody, learn how to hold your own keys. Please, people, this is what it's all about: life, liberty, property. This is the first digital property. It's the first scarce asset in the world. The only way you're going to have American dream.
I agree. Saylor meets Pakistan finance minister. I was looking this up, and it looks like he's been appointed like a Bitcoin advisor to Pakistan. That's kind of really compelling. For me, like the way I was trying to draw this down, I'm trying to see like how all these entities are trying to game theory it out. What makes Pakistan interesting is like we tend to more ally with India as a nation, I think, and politically.
Bitcoin's for enemies, baby.
Bitcoin's for enemies.
Bitcoin's going to unite the world. So I think that's great. The more people, the more enemies of our country that are stacking Bitcoin, the better. As far as
Pakistan has to be looking at Ukraine and saying, why don't we have 46,000 Bitcoin? And now India is looking at Pakistan, and China then has. It's just
exactly.
This makes me think that
this is the whole game theory of how Bitcoin replaces or makes it more difficult.
So I think the Mar-a-Lago Accords they're gonna get together, and the Bretton Woods 2.0 is gonna be the nations are gonna come out and they're just gonna put out a sheet like they did with those tariffs. And they're like, this is what all the nations already have. And this is like,
I don't think anyone's telling you what they have.
I don't think one nation like America is going to come out and say, we are going to start buying before they allow all their allies, like France and Japan and England.
Yeah, we have this
2.
conversation. I don't agree
I
with
think
that.
they're all going to come to an agreement and make the announcement they already have acquired.
No, I think they're just waiting for stablecoin legislation.
And
I
then
think
they-
once the stablecoin legislation is solid and everybody's
Right.
in,
Then I think they roll out the
then they're going
multilateral
to start
agreement.
announcing all the ways they're going to buy Bitcoin
Right.
that are
and then dump the
budget
treasuries on the stable coins. I get that part of it. I just think that the multilateral agreement comes right after the stable coin road is paved.
I think the important thing here is that, you know, we talked about this at Bitcoin Day Tampa. You know, it used to be that you would invade a country, you'd win the war, you'd seize their gold.
Right.
Not possible in this future. So I think countries are waking up. They're watching Russia get sanctioned. They're watching the wars, and they're saying, maybe we should have a digital asset that's unconfiscatable.
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but what happens when America announces that we custody Ukraine's 46,000 Bitcoin? Okay, do you get what I'm saying? I understand that, but you're pretending there's a world where these governments don't make stupid agreements between each other.
Then I
with the
can't
force
help
of
them.
might and things like that, right? And
It's like having an ETF. I mean,
No,
if that's
agree.
what's happening,
there might be a government sort of ETF,
I mean,
right,
like,
through the
look,
IMF or
so
the World Bank.
Coinbase is going to custody all these sovereigns Bitcoin, and then we're just going to
Stranger
do
things
it. We're
have
going to do another
Truth
like,
is stranger
whoops,
than fiction.
Sorry, you're not getting your Bitcoin back.
Let's go to the next one.
160% rise in public BTC holders since last year. Public? Oh,
So
you mean
Bitcoin
corporate
treasury
companies?
companies,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bitcoin treasury companies. Yeah. I've heard about
So is that 160% rise in the amount of companies or the amount
publicly
of Bitcoin
traded
they have?
companies that are holding.
Okay, so if there
BTC.
was 10 last year, there's another 15 this year.
It's been going up at like 100%
Sure.
plus per year.
Right.
You know, I think we started
Gradually,
like,
then suddenly.
with the
yeah.
couple, you know,
Right.
a few years back. So, yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. I mean, literally, I think we're going to end the year
Right.
at that, maybe close to 1,000.
Do they all have the same board of directors?
No.
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 Completely
Not
different.
at all.
Okay.
Yeah, not at all. And so anyway, okay, here we go. Brian Armstrong, BTC is the future reserve currency. Thanks, Brian. You just figured that out?
Hey, he's been saying some. That's the thing. Brian talks like a maximalist at times, and you can go back like 10 years. And the
Breaking
news.
news!
Like Brian.
Breaking news. Brian
best-
says it's a future reserve currency.
He's been saying this for a long time. These kinds of things at times, you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But Fartcoin is a close second.
I think that's his way of saying he doesn't want governments to sanction any other coins in the reserve, so that would kind of light up the business.
Or I have really good custody.
Right. Next.
Sorry,
one.
Brian.
Texas strategic Bitcoin reserve could become law this week.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Does that mean they don't sell what they have? Does that mean they start buying? That's going to be, I mean, all these states, it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out. I mean, do towns start rolling this out?
I mean, at least Texas, way to go, Texas. Like Florida has been having issues with it. Ridiculous. So, congratulations, Texas.
Have
you guys
governments
go for it.
custody Bitcoin.
They call Brian.
That's what they're going to do. That's going to be interesting. I think
If they're in
entities are gonna
Texas,
have to
they
figure
should
that
call
out.
Unchained. Unchained will custody for them.
And then who do they give keys to then?
They can give
The
keys
treasurers
to
or
3.
the
They can do the
governors or the-
institutional grade custody, and they can have trust companies hold the keys, and they can hold.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be
I mean,
sort of
come
institutional
on,
grade.
Texas.
Yeah, that would be
Don't
what-
sell out. Support your local brothers there at Unchained. Paul Tudor
Okay.
Jones, you need BTC in your portfolio. I saw this interview on CNBC. Paul Tudor Jones is fire. I've always thought he's amazing. He's also a fly fisherman. And yes, you need BTC in your portfolio. He was like one of the first hedge fund managers in the world to get it.
Yeah, 100%.
That was, back in 2020, he figured it out immediately when COVID hit. And he just keeps pushing harder and harder
Yeah,
and
he's
harder.
huge signal. It's strange because there's a lot of people, I think, in my orbit who would listen to what Paul Tudor Jones said if that kind of message made it to the news they read.
Right.
But
Well, he was on CNBC. He said, Bitcoin, gold, and stocks will do okay. He said he could see a future where stocks would get beat up. So, Bitcoin and gold, here we go, baby.
I think we should bring up
Tether CEO, self-custody should be taught in schools. What do you think?
That's awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So if the CEO of a stable coin is telling you you should custody your own Bitcoin, maybe you shouldn't hold that ETF.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. I wanted to bring up the Iranians, all their banks, the Iranian bank got hacked. All the money apparently disappeared.
Yep.
And, you know, it makes you wonder, like, they didn't have a backup. Maybe the backup got corrupted and disappeared. But like,
I think they hacked the central server and deleted the balances.
And
so if you mess with the balances and everybody looks at their account, they got zero.
So I bring this up because BlackRock aims to be the largest Bitcoin manager by 2030. Again, I think that'd be antithetical to Bitcoin. ETFs are interesting. It's financialization of Bitcoin. It's a great way for grandma to get some exposure, but it would just not the greatest thing for them.
You don't need a BTC manager. What is a manager of BTC? Like, they're not running a trading strategy. They're buying it for you.
Right. They're your babysitter.
That's your, like,
right. And you pay fees in, you pay fees out.
Buy your own Bitcoin. You don't need a
but if they can
manager.
If they can wipe the database from the Iranian banks, they could do it to our banks.
Oh, yeah. Right. 100%.
So that's going to happen. What's interesting is
that's the first thing I thought immediately when I said that. I was like, oh, we're next.
Or on the line. Like some countries next after Iran. We 100%. Could be next in line or 10th in line. But what's really interesting is the story doesn't even need to be true to be a wake-up call for people. I mean, maybe Iran is like, you know what, or Iran, I should say. Iran is like, you know, we actually have a backup that they don't know about, and things will be ready in 3 days. And things go on and on that front, and it's not what we hear, right? It's propaganda. But that's still telling you, like, they claim to have this power.
Sure.
And if they have that power, then it can be executed anyway.
How many servers get compromised?
It's not cute. It's not cute.
PII gets stolen all the time. Servers get compromised all the time. Whether it's personal data or digits reflecting your balance in your checking account, it's a server being compromised. So get on the only decentralized secure server in the world, which is BTC.
Not your keys, not your cheese. Next one.
Stake and Shake to expand Bitcoin rewards. What?
So what I want to know though, are they keeping any Bitcoin on the balance sheet? Or are they just converting the statues? No. I don't think they are. That's my guess. They haven't said anything like that.
Expand Bitcoin rewards. What? So like, if you spend in Bitcoin, you get an extra burger?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. They're like, I haven't.
The only way that makes sense is if they're holding the BTC. Because I think it's going up in value.
Eat slow food at home. But when I'm out on the road with my kids, Steak and Shake's probably one of the better options for me, actually, versus like some of the other ones. If I'm going to be honest, like my kids are like, I don't want to go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to Burger King. I don't want to go to Wendy's. I'd rather go to Steak and Shake. And I love that they're doing this to appeal to
grass-fed beef jerky and RX bars.
My kids don't eat beef jerky.
That's all you need.
All right. But anyway, I think Steak and Shake happens to be a decent fast food establishment. And I love that they're trying to appeal to Bitcoiners.
I
hope they're stacking sats for themselves.
Right.
This would be a business I would be very excited to see. Not because it's something I have to go gamble on or bet on in the Wall Street casino. But
at least you're doing it, man. I love you guys. Steak and Shake, good for you guys. Expand your BTC rewards.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Like,
buy Bitcoin.
I'm sorry, I'm such a shit talker, but we're totally stoked that you're doing this.
Circular economy is what we need. MOE, medium exchange. We need people to spend and replace.
And hopefully they're successful with this, and other people learn from it and follow.
Yeah. So buy your sats at Byte Federal ATMs, and then go down to Steak and Shake.
And Shake, we love
buy
you.
Buy some burgers.
Go support them.
Pretty good Wisconsin burgers, like Butterburgers.
Go support Steak and Shake.
Hopefully they start stacking sats themselves.
Do it.
This has been BitcoinCenter brought to you by Byte Federal. We are done. This is the lightning round. We can address anything. But that's the topics.
I mean,
it's another week.
Here we go.
That was awesome.
Iran, Israel.
I mean, here we go. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Bitcoin, gold, whatever responds in this. It seems like everything's taking a little bit hit right now.
I just think it's going to get heated.
Yeah.
It's just getting started.
Yeah.
I mean, all the chatter about false flags on the horizon. You see Trump tweeting about, we won't go unless we're attacked. That's like literally lighting the.
CNN had a video today about some 2,500 square mile nuclear base that was never known about until today.
Where?
In Iran.
Oh.
Like, it sounds very like Iraq-like is what I'm saying. Like, you know, we're gonna go in there and not find everything we were looking for.
The bottom line, I think the bottom line for all Americans is that we need to be safe, we need to be careful, and we need to be leery of anything that we hear about attacks on our soil.
This is true.
Question everything. If you haven't learned anything since 2001, it's question everything.
Since 2020.
Or since 1940.
I'm old enough to remember 2020.
I mean, how many false flags have we, in hindsight, identified as the reason why we got into a war?
I mean,
it's over and over and over again. Yeah. So
in almost every country.
I suspect it's coming, and we need to be aware of that and honest with ourselves about that.
Well, thank you for tuning in.
Be safe. We love you all.
Not your cheese. Get your sats at Byte Federal ATMs. This show is brought to you by Federal. This is BitcoinCenter. My name is Cedric Youngelman.
Paul Tarantino.
See you guys next week, Tuesday.